Hey everyone, Grant here at Red and Blue, and today I want to talk to you about something that I think will sound a little crazy to a lot of people in Pokemon right now. And that is, I buy cards at full market value all the time on eBay. Okay, let's talk about what is happening at the big shows right now, particularly shows like Collecticon. Let's be honest, people love comping their cards at above market value. And not just by a little bit, but by a lot. And this is a normal thing. Buying cards at big shows like Collecticon, whether you're a vendor or a collector, it's just not always the right move. For me personally, it rarely is. I don't buy a lot at the big shows. The people I tend to buy from, I have personal connections with. We have trust. We like dealing with each other, and we're willing to move things to each other at a proper price. But I consistently find deals, better deals elsewhere, including on eBay. So let's get into it. In this video, we're going to cover four things. The first one is what's happening with comps at the big shows, Collecticons, Front Rows, and other huge shows. Comping right now in this market is honestly crazy. Number two, I'll show you how I personally comp cards and how I look at different cards in different scenarios. Number three, I'm going to show you a few specific examples of some of my awesome cards, some of my Gengars, and how I got these, and the stories that I had comping them, even scenarios I dealt with at Card Party last week, Phoenix Collecticon a few weeks ago. Very unique situations and how other people try to comp them, how I comp them, and how you can best approach it. And then last, we'll talk about why I buy on eBay and why I enjoy buying on eBay, and how, frankly, you can even get better deals on eBay than buying at shows. Let's get into it. Let's be honest, people are going crazy with comps right now in valuing their cards at above reasonable numbers. This is particularly common at Collecticon. And in my opinion, if you're after a grail, if you're after a big card, generally speaking, Collecticon is not the place to buy it. Big shows are not the place to buy it. And you can even find better deals paying full market value on eBay. So let's talk about how this works. A lot of vendors right now and a lot of people, when they comp their cards, they love cherry picking sales. This is not unknown. This is not particularly uncommon, but it's very common in the current market with how high things have been going and how fast they're going. So what will happen is a card will sell a few times over the course of maybe 30 days, 2-3 times. And consistently, particularly at big shows, vendors will, okay, there's a few things. Number one, they'll act as if the low sales don't even exist. Number two, they'll sticker their card at the highest sell, or even worse, they'll sticker their card above the highest sell, despite low sales also existing. Number two, people love comping their stuff off of lowest listing in this market. They love to do this. Well, lowest listing, but if you wanted it right now, this is what you would have to pay to get it. And that's technically true. The lowest listing pricing is not entirely inappropriate. It does make sense. But at the big shows in particular, it's absolutely abused. They will go off of lowest listing even when a card sells all the time. And then number three, I have even hit scenarios where people value their card, they put a number on it that is significantly higher than what is available right now on the market. And when I say higher, I mean thousands of dollars higher than what you could simply buy online on eBay, for example, from a trusted, legitimate seller with authenticity guarantee at a lower price. Wild. So let's talk about how I comp cards. Number one, And the most important rule to know, it doesn't matter if your card is vintage, it doesn't matter if it's modern, it doesn't matter if it's a grail or low-end card. If the card sells all the time, like let's say a few times a week at least, there is no reason you need to go off of the last sale as the comp. What about modern cards that sell 3-4 times a day? We're talking Bubble Mew, Prismatic Evolutions Umbreon, Destined Rivals Team Rocket, Paldea Evolved Magikarp. These are modern hits that sell 3, 4, 5 times a day. Mega Charizard XCX, right? So if a Destined Rivals Team Rocket comes my way, or a Prismatic Evolutions Umbreon, or a Bubble Mew PSA 10 or whatever that sells 3, 4, 5 times a day, I will typically comp it off of 1 or 2 of the low recent sales. I know what you might be saying. You're going to say, Grant, but that's you. You're comping off of lowest sales. Grant, how could you say that? Blah, blah, blah. Here's why. If you really want a Bubble Mew PSA 10, you don't have to be the high price. There are auctions going on every day for that card. There's not only a good chance, there's a great chance you can snag it at a bit of a deal. I say this from personal experience. I do this all the time. And number 2, you can often go off of lower sales, right? If they're reasonable. We're not talking about abnormal outliers. We're just talking, oh, it seems to oscillate between 25 and 3,000, give or take, for a Mega Charizard XCX. I can probably pay 25 or 26, maybe 27. In some scenarios, it's just fine. I will also average the last 4. That's fine. I don't mind doing that. One thing I also do when I average the last 3 or 4, and that is the most common way that I buy cards, is I do toss outliers. So if there's an extremely abnormal high comp, I toss it. If there's even a very low comp, I toss it. Okay, so we're going to go over 4 cards. I sold a few of them, and I'm going to show you how I comp these cards and also some of the experiences I've had around these cards with vendors wanting to sell them to me, and with me going out and walking the floor trying to buy them, and then also looking at them on eBay, public auction houses. So let's get into it. Check this out. This is the Expedition base set Gengar. And let's look at comps. So you can see the most recent sale was last night. It sold for $7,000. It also sold for $7,500. And just the day before sold for $6,300 and $6,100. And on May 25th, it sold for $6,900. So when I hit a card like this, in my opinion, there is absolutely no reason you should be paying off of lowest listing. That for sure makes no sense. And you should not be going off of the most recent sale. It doesn't make sense. So at Card Party, at Phoenix Collecticon, I had multiple vendors come my way, and I went shopping for this card in particular. Every one of them had it at $7,500.
What?
Okay. So if we go back to comps, you'll see that they were all going off of this listing right here. I said, hey, look at the last 2 days. And this sale right here is literally 9 days before. One seller brought up with me, these 2 sales right here were actually international sales. And I went and looked at them, and that actually was true. How do you use that in a comp? I honestly don't have the right answer. It kind of depends on where it's coming from. It depends on the seller. It depends on reputation. So it's hard to value that one. The biggest thing for me, aside from price when buying internationally, is that slabs don't come with authenticity guarantee. When you're buying a $7,000 or $8,000 or $10,000 slab, that authenticity guarantee is big, especially if you're buying it from a low review seller. That's a big deal to me. And if you're buying anything from China, they don't have authenticity guarantee. So how do you use that in a comp? I don't know, maybe you don't. So some vendors did point out to me, hey, these were international sales. And I went, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. So I told this one vendor, I said, I will comp the card. This is market value in between this and this. I'll say it is $7,150. And this particular vendor was on the fence about it, and that's fine. But I just said, dude, this card sells so often. There's no reason I need to go off of the highest sale. That doesn't make any sense. And what do you know? Within a few days, it sells here, 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 here. And you may say, oh, Grant, that's an upward trend, you know? Dude, it's 2 days. That doesn't scream upward trend at all. Like, we don't know what'll happen. Maybe it'll go up, maybe it'll go down. Now, here's what's funny. If a seller came up to you and they tried to sell it, you know, at Collecticons and stuff, they're obviously going to go off this number. They're going to say 7,500. And I'm going to go, sorry, it's the average of these. Okay, let's talk about the next Gengar. Mysterious Mountains, Japanese, PSA 10 first edition. So check this out. This card sells roughly every 10 to 12 days. And you can see in the last bit, it's been back on an upward trend because this is over the space of like a month and a half that it's done this. If we look at lowest listings, check this out. 16,700 is available right now on eBay. And you might be able to just message them and say, well, you take 15.5. And then guess what? If you have a good credit card, you know, you can get 2% cash back on that, that's $300 back in credit. But the reality of the big shows right now, unfortunately, is that a lot of people will simply pick this. Given that this sale was now almost 3 weeks, it is 3 weeks ago actually, a lot of people are going to go off of lowest listing. They're going to say their card is at 16.7 instead of saying, hey, it's at 15, maybe in between 16.7. But this card, again, it's not a hard card to comp. If someone came to sell it to me in this situation, I'd probably comp it at an average of these. You may say the card's worth 16.7, and I'd say it's up for 16.7 and it hasn't sold. So the card is not worth 16.7. It's been up there for a bit. So that's how we look at some of these cards. Let's talk about the web promo. What happened is I came across a vendor who had both a first edition and an unlimited variant. And I wanted to buy both. And I was like, wow, I haven't seen a vendor who's had both of these except me. So I went to go buy him and I said, hey, he didn't have them stickered. And I said, what's your price on the first edition copy? He said, I'd be at least $30,000. The vendor, I want to, you know, if someone sees this and knows what I'm talking about, the vendor was not rude. The vendor was very polite. The vendor was kind. I'm not, you know, they weren't a jerk or anything. I said, can you just explain to me, you know, in a kind way, can you explain to me how you're getting that number? And he said, well, there was a private sale in China that took place. That was like some high number. I can't remember. It's like 30 or 20, high 20s or something like that. And I went, well, I don't know anything about it. I haven't heard anything about it. As someone who, you know, collects these cards and has quite a few. And I said, there's no public comps around there. Are you okay being around public comps? And he said, no. And then this is where it gets ludicrous. I said, do you mind if I check lowest listings? And he said, sure. 26,000. We could probably send them a message and they would maybe take 24, 25. This is $10,000 above the last public comp, which took place 3 weeks ago. Hasn't sold. So he literally has his card at least $4,000 higher than an available listing. The vendor then threw it out, hey, I sell to celebrities and they just pay whatever. If you can sell your card to a celebrity then for high numbers, then why haven't you? So it's just things like this. This is what you see at big shows like all the time. Just weird stuff. Let's hit the last card. Sabrina's Gengar. I took in a Sabrina's Gengar at the Phoenix Collecticon from another vendor. So what I did in this situation is someone brought it to me and their sticker was 9,700. And by the way, if this vendor sees this, the vendor was super nice. I have nothing rude to say about it. Sabrina's Gengar, this guy sells like every day, every 2 days, May 27th, May 26th, 25th, 25th, 24th, 20, 20, 17, 17. So the vendor comes over and the vendor has a sticker at 97. And I said, hey, I'll take in the trade. That's fine. but I will market value the card at 91. It sells every 1 to 2 days, and it's consistently selling at high 8s to high 9s. And he said, yeah, so would you want to do average? And I said, I usually do average, but in this scenario, this card sells so much, I'm not going to average it because I can comfortably go on eBay and I can probably get a great deal. I can buy it at one of the lower prices. What do you know? The card has already dropped, right? Imagine if I would have taken that card into 9.7, I'd be $1,000 down on market value. I took it in at 9.1 market value, and then I did a trade. So I'm okay, right? Let's talk about buying on eBay. I personally really like buying on eBay because there are so many high reputable sellers that you can work with, and you get authenticity guarantee. An authenticity guarantee, depending on the card or slab, in my opinion, is a very big deal. I care a lot about that, especially if you're going to buy something international. Second, having a credit card, like a good credit card that gives you 2% cash back or 3% cash back. I used to have the eBay card and I loved using that. I would get 3% cash back in eBay points. They since did away with it and you only get 2% now. I still use that all the time. I buy stuff with that card. I get 2% back. I don't pay sales tax on eBay. If you have a business and you are buying and reselling cards, you don't need to pay sales tax when you buy on eBay. If you're buying cards that you're going to resell, right? It's inventory to resell. So collector to collector or even vendor to vendor, my take, if you want to go to the big shows, I think it's fine. But if you're going to buy, not the best place. If you're going to meet people, yeah. If you're going to network, yeah. And if you're going to sell, yeah, it can be a good spot. But to buy cards, not the best. So, best of luck.